Well, fuck my arsehole and call me Mr. Goatsy. It's finally here once again. The pinnacle of everything that's come before. The greatest race in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 24 Hours of Le Mans.
It's the Indy 500!
What?
You're in Indianapolis, you fucking dolt!
Wait, what? I didn't fucking ask for this.
You didn't ask to be depressed either, but look where we are!
Listen, don't you fucking go there. Yep. We're back home again in Indiana, right in the month of May, where instead of celebrating our achievements this year, I'm lamenting on my regrets and my very fatal flaws as a human being. Like I've been doing since starting motorsport-related videos on YouTube. So, this is it. My magnum opus, my swan song, the climax, or anticlimax, to everything that's come before. For this channel has now become a competition on who can hate me the most. Well, you're in luck, because you all lost. Nobody hates me more than myself, so get fucked! This year's pole sitter happens to be none other than the only other Colombian who isn't Juan Pablo Montoya, Roberto Guerrero. Followed by Eddie Cheever, and right beside him was the biggest case of midlife crisis since AJ Foyt, none other than Mario Andretti. For the record, he doesn't win the race, and everyone already knows that. Also in the mix are previous winners such as Arie Luyendyk, Rick Mears, who won his 4th last year, and even despite having a terrible crash earlier during the month of May. Saying those words make me physically cringe. Is still racing and hoping for a 5th win. Which won't happen. And not forgetting other champions like Danny Sullivan, Emerson Fittipaldi, Bobby Rahal, Tom Sneaver, and Gordon shut the fuck up it's not funny anymore John Card. 3-time Formula 1 world champion Nelson Piquet would have participated in the race, but he had a bad crash on turn 4, severely injuring his legs. And would-be rookie Jovi Marcello also could have participated, but he sadly died during a practice crash on the speedway. I would have a joke here, but, you know, I'd be vilified for it. So, to offset that from happening, I shall distract you with this. Gordon John Schlong. So usually at this point of the video, I would start talking about the race. But, I'm giving you all the benefit of the doubt. Over a year ago, I made a review of the 1982 Indianapolis 500, and most of the positive reception to the 1982 Indy 500 review came from my take on the advert. But there aren't any this time round. So, to make up for that, I'm going to spend a very large chunk of this video talking about the pre-race broadcast that has a lot of crap meddled around the place. Only because 1, I don't want to do this again, 2, I want this to at least rival the 2016 Indy 500, and 3, fuck you, don't dictate what I want to do with my own fucking channel, you twat. You do you, and I'll do me. You got that? Good. Then we'll begin. Mario and Michael are both no strangers to awkward family photos. I mean, for God's sake, none of them look like they want to be here. Despite being on the pole position, Roberto Guerrero knows that all famous chiropractors lean their neck back to a fridge before starting one of the most physically demanding races of the year. It's a no-brainer.
Last year, Mears crashed in practice and then came back to score his 4th win. This year, he crashed again. Is it an unprecedented 5th win for the Rocket?
No. No, it isn't. Shut up. You're wrong. Stop milking it. Ooh, you have no fucking idea how much I want to be in the fucking firing line of Ted Prappas right now. Who knew that Jimmy Vasser, the 1996 US 500 winner, add that to the list of words that make me physically cringe, was so cute in 1992? Babyface to heel in 4 whole years. This is the last time you'll hear me making a wrestling joke. Seriously. I'll give it to Lynn St. James. Visualizing things really helps you put yourself into situations that you might not normally be put in. Like a short guy playing basketball, a donkey in a horse race, or me in a stable social life. Fuck off!
Last year, AJ was to retire after the race, but this year he's back, and the word retire is missing from his vocabulary.
If the word retire is missing from AJ Foyt's vocabulary, does that mean Fernando Alonso will be racing in F1 when he's in his late 60s? If the World Endurance Series lets Fernando do what he wants to do, then I would not be surprised. Oh my god, look at his chubby little Just want to pinch him so hard that his flesh starts to peel off.
The Gillette Company, maker of the Gillette Sensor Shaving System and Right Guard Antiperspirant Antiodorant, is proud to bring you the Gillette Halfway Challenge. The Gillette Halfway Challenge awards the driver leading at the halfway lap $10,000. And stay tuned because a lucky fan who has entered the Gillette Halfway Challenge for the Indianapolis 500 will win a beautiful Chevrolet Corvette.
Okay, as to writing this script I'm reading off to you now, I don't remember in the slightest who leads the halfway point of the race, so I'm actually going to guess who it might be. And I'm going to go for my boy Michael Andretti, because why not? You know, I stopped caring about predicting wrongly ages ago. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, car is hairy, there's no talent on his first name already, John Andretti. I can't take responsibility for that joke. I just want to stop for a second to commemorate the fucking stellar hand-eye coordination of Fittipaldi when he caught that orange. Let's look at that again. Ooh yeah.
Bobby is both the driver and the owner, along with Carl Hogan.
Bobby is both the driver and the owner, except he isn't. Emerson Fittipaldi coming in with that sweet chin music. Again, I really don't care about wrestling or WWE. I've just been watching those top 10s they have on YouTube and being pissed off at how fucking awful they are as a company. Look up, they really are awful.
Auto racing at night is quite common at certain levels of the sport. But at the NASCAR level, it's never been done on a super speedway where speeds approach 170 miles per hour.
So this lighting company just compared a 24-hour endurance race to a NASCAR race in Charlotte. Yeah, I could see that. You know, there's something I could make a very common link to. I mean, shit, they both involve cars and turning.
Rick suffered a small fracture to his right wrist that makes it difficult to get out of the car, but doesn't affect his driving.
Ha! Tell that to Pascal Wehrlein. Imagine being such a narcissist that you write a book about yourself. That's like having an entire football stadium in Spain be about one footballer and one footballer only. What a lark.
Mario loves motorcycles. He even tested a Formula One bike.
Tested a what? A Formula One bike? Is that even a series? One of the lovely things about being a motorsports fan is that you learn new things every day. I'm still skeptical about it though.
Rick, on the other hand, has just turned 40, and he drives for the Penske team, the best in the business when it comes to winning this race. We decided to take a closer look at this man who, if he does win today, will become the undisputed king of Indy.
Stop it. Stop it right now. It's not going to happen, and you fucking know it. The one thing in many decades of Indy 500 broadcasting that stayed the same is when someone has 4 wins under their belt, or if they get close to having 4 wins, they just love milking it to hell and back. They do it with Helio Castroneves, and here they are doing it to Rick Mears. It's pretty exhausting to watch sometimes. And guess who the fuck is back for another round of the greatest song of all time? You know it! It's Jim Neighbors!
Back home again in Indiana, and it seems that I can see the gleaming candlelight still burning bright through the sycamores. For me, the new mown hay sends out its fragrance through the fields I used to roam. When I dream about the moonlight on the wall, how I long for my Indiana home.
We move now to the head of the field, where the next words will be spoken.
Ladies and gentlemen, The moment for the words we have been waiting to hear has arrived. And to give those words is Chairman Emeritus of the Board of Directors of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Mrs. Mary Holman.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
What the fuck else did I expect from Indy of all places? A race that will have no problems whatsoever? Of course not! At least it was someone forgettable like John Paul Jr. Only the second most forgettable person with the name John Paul next to the Led Zeppelin bass player.
The other part of the rule, what they're going to do is they're going to impose a 100-mile-an-hour speed limit during that closed pit and caution session.
Is that even a fucking speed limit? The only time I've ever seen a sign on the road that has the number 100 on it is in Europe, unless there's some weird off-kilter place in England I don't know about that has a 100 miles an hour speed limit. Nothing says absolutely unique and not at all unnecessary coverage than having Bobby Unser ramble on about being in the pace car. I mean, granted, these days they take out Mario Andretti from his cryogenically frozen chamber to work for ShopHonda.com, but it's always nice to look back at what it once used to be. It's up to you whether you'd call it an improvement or a cutback. Oh my good God. The fucking pole sitter just fucked it up and crashed. The pole sitter, Roberto Guerrero, just fucking crashed his car before the start of the race. I'm not gonna laugh. No. This is a professional review. Okay. I'm being completely and utterly serious. He seriously just turned on a fucking straight line. Who do you think you are? Jolyon fucking Palmer? What the fuck do you mean I can't say that? This is the last time I'm making a fucking video like this, so you can shut up! Philippe Gash. Another one? Are you fucking with me? This race hasn't even started yet, and it's already a fucking shit show. Just like every Indy 500 that's ever happened. You guys have no idea how much I want to stop right now. Ah, yes. Nothing says mid-90s motorsport with a whole field of cars capable of 230 plus miles an hour driving past 700 emergency vehicles. The only thing missing is a few dead drivers and a debate over cockpit safety.
Here tears Katie Guerrero. Her husband's car has been reported as too damaged to continue on.
Why would you marry Roberto? No one deserves this much emotional stress. Alright, this is it. One more time for old time's sake. My dick is absolutely rock hard because the 76th running of the Indianapolis 500 is underway! Eddie Cheever takes the lead and immediately is just like, nah, fuck this. And then Michael and Mario take the lead before them. Michael Andretti will not win and neither will Mario. If they win, I will stop making videos. Jesus, look how fucking huge that gap is, dude. What the fuck is even the point of the race anymore? Are we just going to see another 1989 Fittipaldi domination? And nothing of note is going to happen in between? Mario ain't so super anymore. Your boy Ari is here to fuck your day. And eat your mushrooms or something. Get it? Super Mario? Yeah, funny. And for good measure, he gets overtaken by Eddie Cheever. I really just want him to take out that one quote about Kevin Kogan and apply it to this scene of him being overtaken twice. That would be my dream come true. Ain't no party like a bachelorette party because the bachelorette party stops after his engine seizes up. Don't fucking tease me like this. I've had like a fuckload to drink. I haven't. I'm actually doing this sober. Ha ha ha. Don't make me feel worse. LOL, you fucking old cunt! Why can't you just roll over and die already? I don't care if I can't say it! I just want to be happy again! Look at this fucking Bernstein Bear motherfucker, spelt with an E, just in case you wanted to know, which doesn't help the debate in the slightest. First, the stress is getting out of hand. Now there are people emerging from my television screen. This is not a good day. Would you look at that? We're racing again, and I've already forgotten who's out of the race already. But, you know, let's be honest here. Even if they were in a race, I wouldn't remember who they are. Ooh! Oh, Tom Sneevers hit the wall hard and smashed the fuck out of the car. Almost as hard as you should be fucking smashing that like button right now, fam! Oh my god. Oh my, that's not good at all. Shit. I'm in the same situation I was when Brian Clausen led the 500. Fuck. Okay. I'll just wait for things just to go, you know, swimmingly. Oh. Okay. That was a hard hit. And in turn 4 as well. Everyone's getting their ass kicked there. I just hope he's fine. Fuck. Alright then. I'm just gonna have to Vince McMahon it and just throw it under the rug and forget it even happened. It's for the best. Alright. I take everything back that I said about Roberto Guerrero. He is gorgeous! Now I know why she married him.
That's all. I mean, obviously very disappointed, but Roberto Guerrero will bounce back again.
Those are words to live by. No matter how bad your luck might be, no matter how down in the dumps you might be in life, just remember the words uttered by one of the greatest minds in motorsport history. Roberto Jose Guerrero! This image portrays accuracy for Republicans, but is the complete opposite for Democrats. I think that's how politics works, right?
When Ray Haroon was in the cockpit of this Marmon Wasp, on the way to victory in the first Indianapolis 500, he had to contend with some things that were pretty basic and sometimes quite primitive.
One of them being the constant fear of being brutally killed in a crash, but that's only primitive.
Wants to add or decrease boost, he moves the boost knob.
You have no idea how much I want some of these drivers to twist my boost knob. It's too much to start from. We are back racing again, and Michael Andretti swoops down and gives the 2 fingers to Scott Brayton and Eddie Cheever. This only brings my fears of him going out of the race to an all-time high. It's not good. Meanwhile, Scott Brayton and Eddie Cheever are both battling for second place, and the one you're thinking of doesn't win the fight. As in, Eddie Cheever. But let's be honest, he'll be hardwired to find any specific moment where he quote-unquote wins something. And then Ari Lyondike gives Eddie Cheever the reason why nobody remembers him, as he overtakes him for 3rd place straight after. Not surprised in the slightest.
Michael Andretti, Ford Power, can the engine hold on? This is its first 500-mile test.
No, it won't. It's Michael fucking Andretti. It's physically impossible for that to happen. Wow! Eddie Cheever doing something of note in this race? I must be dreaming! This is easily going to be the most craziest and out-of-place thing that's going to happen in this race. Treasure this moment, as you will never see it again. I mean, granted, you're probably going to see Eddie Cheever win something, but, you know, that's beside the point.
The signal comes from this race car up to a helicopter orbiting over the track. Because of the very low ceiling today, the helicopter must be much lower, and because of that, the signal from time to time may not be as good as we normally have, but we'll keep track of it for you.
I propose that we have the track completely reconstructed from scratch, so we can have an entire track inside a thick concrete tunnel so that no signal can come out of it.
That is son Tom Sneva. He's on his way to Methodist Hospital. He has contusions to his left chest, his left hip, and both of his feet. However, he is awake and alert.
That's good news. Tom Sneva, heavy impact with the wall, not nearly as bad as what we saw with Nelson Piquet early in the month. Paul?
Ah, yes, contusions are definitely good news as long as you aren't Nelson Piquet.
I imagine, and I talked to him at some length. You see how fast he's running right there, courtesy of Valvoline.
You smooth cunt. You couldn't let it go, could you, Sam? Look at this fucking battle. It's like that slide game in fucking Club Penguin. Buddy Lazier couldn't be able to do that. It's fucking amazing. Ah, okay. Oh, ow, I hurt myself. Fuck, that really hurt. Okay, it's bleeding. Okay. Yeah, okay. See ya, just give me a sec.
Hi, I'm David Land. I'm here because Chris was stupid enough to hurt himself banging his hand on his desk. How unfortunate. But anybody who talks mad shit about our Lord and Savior, Buddy Lazier, probably deserves it. Nobody will say bad things about you anymore, buddy. Nobody will say bad things. And let's face it, when it comes to Buddy Lazier, you talk shit, you get hit. Oh shit, I think he's coming. Listen, take some advice from me. You don't want to watch the rest of this video. You know what? How about you go over and subscribe to David Land, and then don't watch any more of his stuff.
Alright, I'm back. I didn't miss anything, did I? Scott Goodyear peels off into the pits with a new set of tyres and fuel. I'm gonna be a fucking arsehole and just straight up say that I think Scott Goodyear will win this race. I've got my full trust on this man, to the point where I'll straight up say that if he doesn't win, this will be the final video I ever do. Let's do this. Why do the cameras continue to stick to fucking Bobby Rahal? If he isn't being sponsored by fucking Steak and Shake, then why the fuck should I care? It's a waste of time and a waste of capitalism.
Well, I think probably a lot of it has to do with, the dad's results here, in the past. And I can see where Al would look at it a different way because his family has 7 wins and my dad's got 1 win out of how many tries. So I think I look at it from the point of view that if I do win it, it's going to be a bonus on my career. But I don't want to wrap my whole career up in just this one race. I'd just like to say that everything else that I've done, has made me feel good. And, if I ever do win this, it would be great. But if not, well, it just wasn't meant to be.
This is actually good advice. You know who does wrap their whole career on one sole win? Alexander Rossi. Mario has been lapped by Michael. The worst is upon us. The world is being turned upside down. Mario should have retired a decade ago. Paul Tracy, the Ubermensch, goes into the pits for the first time. That's it. I just wanted to make an Uber joke and hope to God that was funny enough in this video. Wait, why am I now asking myself what's funny and what's not funny? Nothing I say is.
In St. James, the number 90 car. He runs in 24th position right now.
Paul Page, commentator, racing enthusiast, gender politics mastermind. Would you look at that? An engine blowout! What possible sequence of words could I use to describe this turn of events that are happening in front of me right now? Well, I'm not gonna tell you! Because I fucking hate the joke, and I fucking hate you for liking the joke! Fuck you! Ari Lyondike manages to completely disregard track limits as he overtakes Scott Brayton for second place. And Michael is literally nowhere to be seen. Meh. John Andretti, much like his racing career as a whole, is stationary in the pits while his pit crew tries to work him out of it. Lola's in Indianapolis are like Cosworths in Formula 1, a waste of money and financing. Alright, 50 laps to go before my boy Michael Andretti wins the Gillette, whatever the fuck it's called, challenge. I don't care, IndyCar sucks, all they do is turn left over and over and over again. Ah, oh, for fuck's sake, did it really have to be Gordon Knobjob Cockblock Slob Schlong? We've beaten his name like a goddamn dead horse. No more. There needs to be a limit. And now they tried to censor his bad luck with Gillette. Capitalism has gone too far and it needs to be stopped. There's the racing line, there's going slightly wide, and then you've got Michael Andretti, who uses parts of the track that are literally invisible. So John Andretti hurt his leg due to an accident in the pits, which is why we saw him with broken suspension. So what the fuck is even happening anymore? We've had a crash with Tom Sneaver, and now John Andretti? This is ridiculous. Ah, fuck! Oh, that's a bad one. Philippe Gash has an awful accident. That's not good at all. For fuck's sake with these fucking accidents!
We see the damage to the front right.
And he's laughing about it. Look at him.
Ah yes, nothing makes a driver laugh more than nearly straight up amputating the legs of another driver. That's just hilarious.
In trying to determine the most difficult back-to-back wins in major sports, there are many candidates. Reggie Jackson powered the Yankees to World Series wins in 77 and 78. Curtis Strange conquered the U.S. Open in 88 and 89. Wayne Gretzky and the Oilers claimed the Stanley Cup in 86 and 87. Joe Montana took the 49ers to Super Bowl wins in 89 and 90. Isaiah Thomas and the Detroit Pistons won NBA titles in those same years. And Boris Becker was the king of Wimbledon in 85 and 86. But here at Indy, it's been more than 20 years since Al Unser won back-to-back 500s in 1970 and 71.
There is not a worse use of a segue to a live sporting event ever.
Her objective, we're all sure, is simply to fare well in this race. She's not racing to win. That's not the objective of a rookie, though.
God fucking damn it, Paul. I could just make a whole goddamn cringe compilation from some of the things you've just said.
The concept is that take different densities of that material and stack it forward of the concrete abutment, with the idea in mind that a crashing car would have the energy of the crash itself absorbed by this material before the car reached the concrete.
You just inadvertently described my entire sex life. Crashing and going to a sudden stop and not moving again. Stan Fox. Heart of a champion, humour of a grey ape. So the green flag is waved and Michael Andretti rides off into the sunset with no worries to burden his life in any way, shape or form. Which is the exact reason why I really now fucking hate him. How dare he be happy in my presence? Oh no! Emerson Fittipaldi has crashed hard, the 1989 winner, the orange juice manufacturer and two-time Formula 1 champion. Out! What the fuck is going on in this race? So why are they showing Rick Mears? Oh shit! He got collected too! This race is fucking disregarding the very notion of natural selection. One part of me really wants all the Penske cars not to be running in this year's 500. You know, I watched the 2003 Indy 500 quite recently, and if that's anything to go by, it just makes me want them to go out more. Rick Mears rides off into the sunset, contemplating why he should have even come here. And Roger Penske, not worrying about anything because he's a fucking billionaire monopoly mastermind, looks around in every other direction the camera isn't facing. Ah yes, the Hannah Emergency Medical Centre. Currently with a legal battle with Joseph Barbara. 5 points if this makes a fucking lick of sense to you.
The Indy Roadsters were iron cars for iron men.
Titanium women need not apply. Dominic Dobson is one of those drivers that I know nothing about, so therefore I can't say anything that could be used in an effectively negative manner. You're free. This time. Coming soon to a theatre near you, The Elephant Man, Foot Fetish Edition. There are pit crew who are getting injured in this fucking race. You can let this one slide. The green flag flies once again and everything is just fine and hunky-dory. Oh, for fuck's sake, Mario! You just had to have a fucking accident now, didn't you? You couldn't just wait a little bit, could you? Of course not! This is why I preferred Luigi.
Accident after accident without serious injury. It makes you wonder, why can't we have something like this for our passenger cars?
Because capitalism, that's why. We already had a communist rant on this channel in one way or another, we don't need another. If there's one piece of advice to the son of Bobby Rahal, please, for the love of Christ, do not grow a moustache. You definitely won't fit in sponsoring Steak and Shake if you have anything close to what Bobby had. Ooh, I am the ghost of Kmart's past. Follow me and I will take you to a place of poorly aged music and overpriced clothes. So pit stops suddenly happen and now Michael Andretti is not leading the race. What the fuck? I'm gonna lose the Gillette halfway challenge now? Oh, okay, never mind. Apparently we're 12 laps away until the halfway point. That Chevrolet is gonna be mine!
Numerology suggested Rick couldn't win his fifth this year.
Oh, so it quote-unquote suggested it, didn't it? Did you even come to the conclusion that it just straight up won't? Don't pull that shit on me for fuck's sake. Boom! Scott Brayton's engine blows up like a fuck you! The car is mine! I can see it! I actually still don't know who wins this, so it's pretty big right now. And now, Paul Tracy is out due to car problems. Some people take a straightforward taxi. Other people take an Uber. Some even take a Lyft. But Paul Tracy, he's been giving an L. A big, fat, coma-inducing L. Speaking of L's, Jimmy Vasser crashes out of the race when Paul Tracy has his engine problem, giving me little to no time to segue between each one. Thanks, Gravity. If you want a foolproof career plan that will definitely make you $1 million, just enter the Indy 500 10 times. If it worked for Scott Brayton, it'll work for you as well.
Tom Sneva has been released from Methodist Hospital in good condition. His x-rays were negative. Jim Crawford is going to Methodist, as is Rick Mears and Emerson Fittipaldi and Mario Andretti. Rick Mears sustained injuries to his left knee, and we'll get x-rays of that in his feet. Emerson Fittipaldi has a puncture wound to his left knee, and Mario Andretti has injuries to both of his feet, the extent of which we won't know until we see his x-rays.
If there's one thing that absolutely shows its age in the 1992 Indy 500, it's the list of injuries that drivers have sustained in less than 100 laps. It's crazy. When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, get forced to root for rail and you can't even hide. This list is getting bigger and bigger every goddamn second at this point. What the fuck is even happening anymore? This is becoming less of an out of the race list and more of a in memoriam list. I've never been so empty and worried despite winning a car in my life. Here we go again. For the love of Senna, Schumacher, Gecki, Mika Maki, or whatever the fuck ridiculously overhyped racing driver you want to mention, please, no more accidents. Well, from here on out, I am a motorsports atheist. I shall now start a YouTube channel where I spend all of my free time arguing against everyone who believes in a god. See you then! Brian Bonner, a driver who I still don't know about still, so therefore I can't say anything negative about. If there's one thing that good old Chris Cook is absolutely key at, it's being able to have accurate research and analysis in a simultaneously entertaining video. Look at this graphic. Take a long, hard look at this graphic. If that doesn't tell you everything about this race, you're either partially sighted or you're just fucking with me. This race is the literal embodiment of having a rusty nail go through a half-amputated toe. Even masochists would look away.
Hanna Emergency Medical Center, named for the previous medical director here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Tom Handa.
Paul Page, commentator, racing enthusiast, David Croft's long-lost father. Oh man, the Indy 500 Snake Pit is looking mega this year. There we go. That's the confirmation I need. Ship my car to my local car dealer, which is actually my house. Thanks. This is a fucking slaughterhouse. There's not a single part of this race that hasn't been tainted with someone's blood. You could genetically make another human being from the damaged body parts of everyone who's been injured in this race.
Oh, but check this out.
Whoa, gnarly skills, bro. I'd totally drink to that. So now the green flag comes out again and Alonso Jr. has the lead. We have witnessed a goddamn miracle in this race and nothing can take it away. And now Michael Andretti has led the race again. Amazing, what a turn of events. 3 wide. Bobby Rahal has a flat tyre. Good. Oh, fuck, another Andretti's crashed. When will this be the end? Oh, shit. That's a horrible accident. It's almost a carbon copy of Nelson Piquet's accident. Christ. Brazil, 2016. Brazil, 2003. Canada, 2011. Hungary, 2015. All mean nothing. I think, in the end of all this mayhem and carnage, we could at least take one thing away from it. Safety has not only improved leaps and bounds from 1992, but we continue to reach a brand new boundary that the previous year would have considered impossible. As a sport, we've managed to not only prevent many injuries and deaths, but we've also managed to find safety advances in places that we might not have looked at 25 years prior. Let's look at accidents like these and let's not regret that it happened. Let's learn from it and move on as a sport, because that's the only way we can improve to further lengths. Let's get it over with.
How do the Formula One drivers of today view the Indianapolis 500? We had an opportunity a week ago to ask them. Are they interested? What do they think of the Indianapolis 500?
All I can say is I believe there's some fantastic drivers out there in America, and you know, I take my hat off to certainly a few of them for what they have already accomplished and what they do.
Well, I think that it's a challenge, but it's quite different from what we do, and I think every discipline must have their own experience. So if I have to go to Indianapolis, probably have to start everything again, and I don't know if that is the case after so many years of Formula One.
If you're successful in Formula One, you can also do well in Indy and vice versa. There is no secret, no miracle. You know how to drive racing cars. You change the...
You know what? Golf is actually a good, relaxing alternative to this race. Wake me up when it's about 2:30 Eastern? Thanks. Oh, god damn it. Why did I have to get bird shit on my favourite helmet? Now it's ruined!
Only she and Ted Trappis, the only two rookies of the 7 that started, left in this race.
Well, what the fuck does that tell you, Paul? Feel free to retract any statements you might have had during the race and then place them into a box, thank you very much. The leader of this race is Michael Andretti. 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 Al Unser Jr. coming in with a seamless overtake on Bobby Rahal, which really isn't hard to do, but it's a reason to celebrate. Meanwhile, another four-time winner, Al Unser, is contemplating the many reasons why he could have bothered even coming here, despite being in fourth right now from 22nd.
Well, I think it was a black car. I think it was maybe Jeff Andretti. I'm not sure. Spun coming off of turn 2, and parts and pieces flew everywhere, and I was trying to dodge the debris, and I guess a tire came out of the sky and hit my car in the left front wheel and knocked the toe in out and put me out of the race.
The Bettenhausen family continues to be star-crossed here. How many more years can you come back? Because, boy, you've had some terrific rides.
I don't know. Right from the start, well, we ran good for a few laps, and then problems, and then we got the car working and running good. Then I killed the engine on one stop, and but I don't know.
Paul, take my word, he'll be back next year.
You bet he will, and he'll always be fast. Gary Bettenhausen lives on 40 miles from the track here.
Gary Bettenhausen, doing what Sage Karam was doing 25 years before Sage was even a thing. There have been only 9 lead changes in 125 laps. Why can't they have DRS like real motorsports, like Formula 1 have?
More than any other racetrack in the world, Indianapolis respects people that know what they're doing, experience. And Al has a lot of experience. Being a 4-time winner, he already knows how to win. And that helps an awful lot here. Poor rookies, they have to stay here a long time before they can get these advantages.
I wish I still had this notion when it comes to Alexander Rossi. I really do. Psst, it's me. I'm the winner. Give me my fucking car already. Oh no, there's been another crash. Who is it that... What's going on? Why is this happening? Help! 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 I don't like this at all! Let's start that again. Ah, fuck! Ori Leyendyke has crashed out. What a travesty! He was doing so well. Damn. Gary Gerald would like to introduce you to his security blanket and his best friend, a piece of wood. His son would later grow up to be Johnny 2x4 from Ed, Edd n Eddy. So Al Unser Jr. is in first place. But there's one guy who I haven't seen since I mentioned him a few thousand words ago. Scott Goodyear. Is he still in the race? Is he just chilling in whatever position he feels like? What's the sitch here?
Just stay low-keyed. My car owner will tell you I get very emotional.
Well, if those drunk driving and street racing charges are anything to come by, then yes, you do get very emotional. Look! I want the Chevrolet Corvette! And I don't even care about Michael anymore. Just get rid of him and let's give me the car and just get over it. Oh, look at Big Al! He's overtaking Michael! What a legend! Fuck yeah, that was an awesome move. Now, the two Al Unsers are in first and second. In-fucking-credible. And now Michael's making another move on the next lap. Boom! Another impressive move by two titans of the sport. Where is my alcohol? I don't seem to have enough. Ha 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 ha! Ha ha ha! Get fucked, Buddy Lazier. The only person who ever cared for you was probably your parents and family members. Get out! Let's be honest and truthful here. He didn't burn himself here. He just shat his pants from excitement. And this shit was over 150 degrees. What the fuck am I even saying anymore?
Brian Bonner has gone down to Methodist Hospital with a bruised left foot and a right shin injury. He's going down for x-rays and further evaluation. Jimmy Vassar is going down for what appears to be a fractured right thigh bone or right femur bone. He also needs other evaluation for that. Jeff Andretti has gone down. He suffered a concussion. He is awake, however. He also suffered some severe injuries to both of his feet and to his ankles. It's going to be difficult to tell the extent of those until we see his x-rays. And Ori Leyendyke should be released from here shortly with a bruised right foot.
I am trying very, very, very hard to find any sort of positives about these injuries. I mean, for Christ's sake, you'd be halves wired to find any injuries in the fucking Isle of Man TT race. Granted, because, you know, everyone would have been dead, but that's beside the point! Only 50 laps to go. You can do it. Just keep your head up, don't throw up, and you'll be fine. This man is the exact reason why I think Helio Castroneves' hair is overrated. Because there's no way in hell that it'll beat Ari Leyendijk. That's for sure. No, this hasn't been a good year. Stop it. Alright, let's go. Let's have some good racing. The top 3 are Michael Andretti, Scott fucking Goodyear, and Al Unser Jr. Let's just hope that it doesn't go to shit. Scott, you are my saviour. Do not, for the love of everything that is holy, fail me. This beats saying that I will hang myself if Fisichella gets points finished back in when I reviewed 1998 by a fucking long shot. Michael, I appreciate that you gave me a Chevrolet Corvette, but your services are no longer required. Stop leading the fucking race. I don't care about him either. If this is anyone's year, it's Scott's. A good year, might I add. I am so sorry. This means nothing to me, but I'm still glad that Al Unser Sr. has some fight with him. He's a good driver. Look at this brief piece of footage and ask yourself if you thought this was a pit speed limit, because it's so hard to tell.
So Big Al makes his stop, and Michael Andretti.
Paul, put the fucking microphone next to your mouth. You have microphones specifically designed for that. Use them properly. And you, AJ, you're just like Monaco. A huge amount of historical significance, but still a piece of shit.
He decided he was having too much fun, and AJ has been a joy to be around this month.
Why the fuck do I even bother anymore? It's making me more agitated every time I come here. Fuck off, Al! Leave poor Scott Goodyear alone! He doesn't need it! No, God fucking damn it, this is not good! Oh my god, I don't believe it! Michael Andretti is out! I mean, granted, I knew it was gonna happen, but it's so late in the race! There's not a single piece of emotion that I can put on this plate that can translate you the feelings I have now for Michael Andretti. Granted, there I have none now, but like, I'm just doing it for comedic effect. This is a battle for the ages, ladies and gentlemen, and other. Let us treasure it! For fuck's sake, the Kid Icarus fanboys are back at it again. Michael Andretti. He came, he saw, he lived in the shadows of his father. I don't blame her. I'd shake my head too if I was married to Scott Goodyear. Please don't tell him I said that, thanks. Little Al, do me a huge favour. Over-rev your engine, turn it to ashes, and just try next year. It'll not only be better for you and me, but it will be better for every individual human being that has ever crossed the earth. You hear me? Good! Here we go. Say your prayers, eat your drugs, and do your vegetables. Let's go! Get that motherfucking slipstream and be done with it, Scott. You're my only hope. Dear Mr. Goodyear, I get that you're trying to be efficient, but this means nothing to me. If you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver. If Eden says it, then it's probably true. I mean, for fuck's sake, the guy could start his own fucking religious cult and people will believe everything he says. Just do it! My heart is going the same speed as the cars are. I probably need to see a doctor. This is the final lap, Scott. If there's a lap to do it, it's fucking now. Do it. Please, just get him on the back straight and be done with it. You only have one chance after that. Don't fucking miss it. He's gaining on him. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it to win. Here he comes. What? What happened? Who won? Who the fuck? Why did the camera change? Who the fuck won the race? I have no idea. What? How the fuck did he win? What the fuck was that? I need fucking definitive proof right now or I won't fucking count it. I don't fucking believe it. That means I'm done. That means I'm finished. I've jinxed myself for the second time in 2 reviews. I don't think any amount of alcohol or drugs are going to help me out of this one. Counselling? Therapy? The warm embrace of a loved one? Nothing is going to work now. Is this what it's like to no longer have purpose in the world? Is this the feeling to have nothing to live for? Am I finished? No. No, it isn't. This is far from the end. This is rather a new chapter. The end of one book and the start of another. Play me off, Charlie Brown! So why should I finish this on a negative note? I shouldn't!
Go!
Because nobody likes bad endings, like sad or soppy endings trying to prove a point or whatever.
Exactly what I'm thinking.
I'm not here to prove a point.
Yeah, you are.
I'm only here to have fun. And to make one of myself in the process. So, until 2017 Indy 500 comes, 1, 2, 3, 4! Stole a key, took a car downtown where the lost boys meet. Took a car downtown and took what they offered me to set me free. I saw the lights go down at the end of the scene. Saw the lights go down and standing in front of me. All the boys, all the girls, all the matters in the world. All the boys, all the girls, all the madness that occurs. All the highs, all the lows, as the river spinning goes. We'll run riot, we'll be glowing in the dark. Fuck this race, man. It's disgusting. It shows the bad side of motorsport, and it only shows that this one little bit is the only part that anyone remembers of this race. So fuck it. 2017, here we fucking come.
1, 2, 3, 4!
Glowing in the dark. Show's over. Fuck off. I don't care anymore. The title cards come up, you walk away, you click on the end of the video. Why aren't you doing that right now? There's no fucking subliminal message here. Nothing. Like, I'm serious. Nothing I say is going to be subliminal or it's going to foreshadow anything. Told you.